only a matter of time before Senator John McCain's gaffes and flip-flops and I didn't say that's fill entire college courses in politics, government affairs, public speaking, not to mention the Saved by Joe Lieberman during the press conference seminar. But in our number one story on the countdown, Senator McCain told a story that cuts to the very core of who he is and why he says he ought to be president. As we told you at the top of this news hour, McCain conveniently dragged the wrong football team into this tale. For a violation encompassing both politics and sports, we could think of only one definitive guest who will be joining us presently. First, though, a reminder. What Senator McCain told KDKA television in Pittsburgh was that the Steelers had made a huge impression on him as a young man, and that as a POW in North Vietnam, when under pressure from his interrogators, quote, I named the starting lineup defensive line of the Pittsburgh Steelers as my squadron mates. Even though in his book and in previous interviews and in making an argument against torture in the pages of Newsweek, on all those occasions, he said it was the Green Bay Packers offensive line he had recited. Let's call in now from a secure, undisclosed ballpark, the host of Countdown, our very own Keith Olbermann. Thanks for taking time off from your vacation, Keith.
You mean the show is on when I'm not? I have no idea, Rachel.
I'm sorry. We're just doing it privately in the office. Nobody can see. Keith, Senator McCain's been getting hammered on on Steelers fan forums on the web. No surprise there. But as bad as that could be for him in the swing state of Pennsylvania, do you think this is a national impact story?
Well, it could be because it's so easy to understand. I mean, when you talk about Sunni versus Shia or a reversal of positions on abortion or anything else, these are somewhat complicated things for people who are not fully paying attention. But if you say in a book, in an autobiography, well, I listened to the Viet Cong, the names of the starting defensive line of the Super Bowl champion, by the way, the first Super Bowl champion, actually, that was the team you wouldn't know about. And then you switch the name of the team at least once while in Pittsburgh to the local team. This is a really easy concept, and sports has been kind of a third rail for a lot of political candidates of any time, particularly presidential candidates. Bob Dole in '96, when he referred to the 17 the Brooklyn Dodgers play the other day, and they moved out of Brooklyn 39 years earlier. John Kerry got, ironically, the Packers home stadium wrong at a fundraiser in 2004. These are really easy to understand concepts, and the idea that you're altering your story in some way for whatever reason is really easily understood by a sports fan who then goes, what the hell, man?
Keith, when Giuliani was still a candidate, he made Yankees fans crazy when he said he would be rooting for the American League team in the World Series, no matter who it was, even though that team was going to be the Boston Red Sox. Compared with that, McCain has managed a sort of almost more improbable sports insult here, hasn't he?
Well, he has in the sense of, Red Sox Yankees is a very lively and continuing over the generations kind of rivalry. Steelers, Packers, to compare them, they're not in the same conference. Used to be kind of blue-collar town rivals in the NFL before the merger with the American Football League in 1966. But what's really important, and most football fans would immediately jump on this thing that I guess most people who don't follow the NFL would not occur to them first as an important issue. But again, if he was captured by the Viet Cong in 1967, and he knew the lineup of the members, any of the members of the world champion Green Bay Packers in 1967. That's completely understandable, and it's a great story. The Pittsburgh Steelers of 1966, 1965, 1964 were terrible, terrible teams. The likelihood that good Pittsburgh Steelers fans of that time did not know names of those players, that some of those players did not know the names of the other players on that team, the likelihood is very great. It really is unlikely. And, of course, the options as to why he has changed the story are all pretty bad.
And, of course, this isn't just about sports or even just about politics. McCain has centered his entire political biography almost exclusively on his life in the military. I mean, never mind 26 years in Washington, we're supposed to think of him pre-1973. So what does this do to his authenticity when something like this brushes up against the core story of who he is?
Well, there it is. There's not a lot of options here. wrote his story in the book. He doesn't know the difference between the Super Bowl champion Green Bay Packers and the then doormat Pittsburgh Steelers, or he is changing it from city to city and doesn't understand that he went against the Houston. And I recited the name of the 1967 Houston Texans, a team that came into being in the last 10 years. This will really trip him up. There are not a lot of good options here.
Keith, just one last question for you. Is there specifically here a hit that McCain takes with the so-called regular guy? I mean, Joe Voter may forgive a lot of things, may forgive a lot of policy flip-flops and gaffes, but leave sports alone, right, to the sort of regular Joe Voter?
Well, as I said, there's nothing you can make a fool out of yourself faster in politics than sports. It's just so easy to screw it up that you're really well advised to know yourself, because the sports fan and a football fan in particular is so well educated, especially when you suddenly turn out to have kind of a generic story that you are changing in one way or the other. I think this is the kind of thing, as I said before, it is so visceral to so many people, especially the people he would seemingly naturally appeal to, that they will go, well, if you can't get this right, how do I know you got anything else right?
Keith Olbermann, host of this program and guest here even when he's on vacation. Keith, thank you so much. Have a good weekend.
You're welcome. I'm a sucker.
Thanks. That is Countdown for this, the 1,890th day since the declaration of mission accomplished in Iraq. Keith told us he was going to be on a beach. That didn't sound like a beach. I'm Rachel Maddow in for Keith Olbermann. You can catch me weeknights at 6 p.m. on Air America Radio. Thanks for watching.